All right, guys, man. So this is some big news right here. So President Trump, man, after the retaliation of the layoffs from the General Motors CEO Mary Barra, they stated that listen, they're going to do a slash production and eliminate at least 14,000 jobs, man. The people who work for General Motors, and this is huge for states like Michigan, Ohio, Maryland. I could say maybe Nevada too, and the Carson City area. They know for making these cars now, and what's so sad about this is that if you're an individual, like I said, you just now again like 4 or 5 years in working for General Motors, and you just going understanding the company, this is going to really potentially affect you, because I believe too now you're doing a next shift right now with the electrical motors. And with the electrical motors, they actually used to give up like the Chevrolet Volt. And if you buy like electrical motor, Chevrolet Volt for instance, you would at least potentially earn $7,500 for tax credit. Now since that's going to pretty much be phased out, because they starting to sell like 200,000 motor vehicles, electric motor vehicles, and it's going to be a new shift and change right now. And so the President Trump's not going to give any subsidies, because he's like, why would I give a subsidy to the General Motors if you guys planning on moving back to overseas, and then you have your companies is still up and running and operating in countries like Mexico and China, but not the United States. And and I will say in this campaign, he did try to bail them out. Former President Obama did the same thing as well, and he said these are the things that we get. So in retaliation, I'm not going to help subsidize you. Now, those you don't understand, a subsidy is pretty much just a government payout that gives a sum of money to an interest or a type of business industry, man, to keep it moving, will have potential low competitiveness. And this is really huge, man. So people, as rejuvenating the economy, I believe we're gonna have self-driving vehicles that's coming along. I mean, no need for taxi drivers or Uber drivers, but Republican Senator, I got my notes here, Republican Senator Dean Heller of Nevada, he proposed a bill to lift the cap on the motor vehicles eligible for credit, but phase out to break entirely until 2022. GM announced plans to slash production. Like I said, there's several people, 14,000 people is going to be out of work. And I'm just thinking as this, man, as millennials right now, this is a chance that, of course, entrepreneurship is the better way, it's the better route. And, as you could think, as millennials, are they still, picky about jobs? Or are they going to go move from job to job? It's going to be to a point that at the same time, I think like college and the things that you major in, if you're not majoring into the STEM field, it's going to be irrelevant, because you're not going to be very competitive, because right now we go into a newer type of technology sector, man. And the CEO of GM, she's going to work with Larry Kudlow, and Larry Kudlow is one of the top financial advisors for Donald Trump, and they was going to state like, listen, we're going to try to figure out some type of subsidy. Now, it's really no report on how the subsidies really benefit General Motors over the years, but at the same time right now, Donald Trump is still looking into this at this moment. He's really not going to bail them out, because they're just doing all these cuts at this moment. It's pretty much out of their control. And the people who just working in this industry, man, even the supervisors who have just a little bit of stocks in the company, man, they're just going to be pretty much out of work. And I think this is really huge, man. These people who actually love their jobs and really rely on this type of work to provide for their families, go to college and do all these other things. So what's the next step? I'm trying to figure out, if they're going to go to more transportation, the people who work there, are you going to get to another skill, go back to school? It's like a huge shift. And then you got people who maybe don't have the funds to actually fund their education so they can get something better. I just think that the only option right now is just for millennials or people who's trying to come up into the world is to probably start your own thing, blog, get into the internet, get into physics, mathematics. Because at the end of the day, at this time right now, I just really want to say like about 2020ish or 2030ish, like 9 to 5 jobs are pretty much going to be non-existent. Things going to be really perfected by your intelligence on how you can ably manipulate or use a robot to perform a specific task. It's going to be people right now that's not going to really understand human interaction. There's a lot of introverts out here. It's going to be a lot of people like, listen, man, I just want to get to the airport with no cab driver. You got people who get into incidents right now stating that, Jameis Winston, who was the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was suspended for a few games this season because allegedly he grew up a woman or said some sexual things to her. And so people don't really want to go through all that at the same time. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but for the most part, if they want to get to somewhere to point A to point B, they say, like, hey, man, they can probably come up with a phone app have a self-driver, like, hey, take me to the airport, boom, it's just drive itself, park itself, it's manufacturing itself. And I just think that, you know, these new companies, or maybe GM, may be working towards that and pay individuals to reprogram these cars to perform those type of tasks that's important to society, that's coming on in the 2020s, 2030s, and 2040s to the next generation. Because right now, I mean, the computers and everything is just really taking over. So we are in the information age, and it got to be one of the most specific reasons why General Motors is really cutting all these jobs here. But at the end of the day, man, I just think things are not going to be relied on to labor or the hands. A lot of white collar jobs, offices jobs, is going to be eliminated as well. Even though if you don't work in the line, this is going to potentially affect you. So it's going to be really kind of interesting how the economy of Michigan, I wonder if Gretchen Whitmer, the new governor of Michigan, is going to really say about this situation right here. But if this really pursues. But hey, man, it's a huge thing, man. It's something to think about. It's really something to really consider. I just want to say, like, information technology, intelligence industry is a very good industry right now. If you work your way through a computer program itself, they probably gonna pay out a good sum of money here. And or if you want to get into politics, which I am, but at the same time, man, this is really huge right now, man. Donald Trump, he did tweet it. He said, "Listen, well, I mean, move to Ohio. I mean, why are you closing down all these plants here? But you still want to come to our government aid to help you do your business. But at the same time, you're not doing anything or repaying back for the American society. That's not right. I'm not going to be part of that and give you money if you're just going to go up here and still continue to use that money to help perfect your businesses overseas. That's not good for the American people. It's a trade." And so I do agree with President Trump on that. So this whole slash production thing is really huge. It's really a bad thing, I'll say. But I'm gonna have to article in the description box. You can pretty much read further on if you want to. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you guys think, man. I know some people probably work in the factory industry, man. So I mean, this is a really a huge dramatic shift right now. This is not the 1950s, 40s, 60s, man, when people just, my grandfather used to love, work there and have a $10,000 pension every month. I mean, now the things are a little bit different. Now you got to like acquire so many skills. And I think this is probably one of the reasons why we create a huge self-entitlement industry, a self-entitlement generation, man. Because at the end of the day, it's comes to the point that, listen, you're doing what society wants us to do: go to school, go to college, have a good job. But at the same time, that job, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to really, we don't know it's going to really help us in the long run for 40, 50 years to provide for our family. Then we put all our money into it, we invest in our time into it. We might have houses, kids, and next thing you know, we got to hurry up and learn a new skill in a short amount of time. And that creates a lot of stress. And I just think that this is why, like, a lot of millennials move from job to job. But hey, man, it's really interesting, man. I just think 9 to 5 jobs maybe be real non-existent. It's gonna be like, what's the point of having one? So I mean, just create something for yourself. But it's really crazy, man. But you guys could tell me what you guys think, man, about this, man. How this situation is gonna pay out, man. The economy is gonna really change. But hey, man, to the millennials, this is the message, man. Just do your thing, do what you gotta do, grind, man. You may have to get into the red collars, which is entertainment, politics, get into something that that's gonna have some type of longevity.